Roch Thériault and his cult, known as the Ant Hill Kids, initially appeared to be an innocent, small community. However, life within the commune was deeply disturbing. Sexual assault, mutilation, torture, and murder. Roch Thériault was born on May 16, 1947 in the village of Rivière-du-Moulin, Quebec, Canada. When he was 6, the family moved to the tiny town of Thetford Mine. He was one of 7 children born to parents, Hyacinthe and Pierrette Thériault. Thériault was described as an intelligent child, but he dropped out of school at the age of 13. The family was devoutly Catholic. Raised as a Catholic, Thériault developed an interest in the Apocalypse and the Old Testament of the Bible, leading him into a period of intense study. He later converted to the Seventh-day Adventist Church and adopted their lifestyle, giving up alcohol, tobacco, and processed foods. Thériault married Francine Granier in November 1967, and they had 2 sons, but Granier would file for divorce in 1974. He frequently traveled to sell his woodworking products and met his future wife, Giselle LaFrance, in Quebec City. Roch suffered from severe stomach ulcers, and despite undergoing surgery, he remained in physical discomfort. This ailment likely accelerated his interest in health and human anatomy. Thériault started attending religious meetings with a Seventh-day Adventist pastor and also quit drinking. Thériault began offering a highly attended and successful course on detoxification, how to quit smoking, in Thetford Mines and surrounding towns. Initially, the Seventh-day Adventists were very pleased with Roch. However, it didn't take long for them to realize that people were more interested in Roch than in their church. Roch began to attract a loyal following, mostly consisting of female disciples. One of these disciples was 27-year-old nurse Gabrielle Lavallee. After traveling and working in various countries from Europe to America, Gabrielle met Roch Thériault in July 1977 during a personal development summer session organized by the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Ontario. Roch declared himself as a prophet who referred to himself as Moïse or Moses, claiming to be the reincarnation of Moses from the Bible. Thériault was expelled from the Seventh-day Adventist Church in 1978. But he had already managed to gain a number of followers. He strongly believed that he had been sent to earth by God to save the world from evil and the impending apocalypse. Thériault's delusions had intensified, and he predicted that the world would end on February 17, 1979. Thériault instructed that they needed to move to Gaspé to prepare for the apocalypse. He told his followers to contact their families and officially sever ties with relatives who did not immediately accept the apocalyptic prophecies. Thériault and his followers, 4 men, 9 women and 4 children, moved to near the Gaspé. He referred to the area as Eternal Mountain. The group began building log cabins. They worked for days without questioning, enduring hunger, thirst, and exhaustion. Thériault named this group Ant Hill Kids, referring to them as working like little ants to carry out his commands. The group started selling homemade bread and pastries door to door and at local farmers markets to finance their new lifestyle. Shortly after moving to Gaspé, Thériault began having sexual relations with most of the women in the group, aiming to have as many children as possible to grow the cult. Thériault would go on to father a total of 26 children with the women in his cult. The critical day of February 17, 1979, when the apocalypse was supposed to occur, came and went without incident. Thériault convinced his followers by declaring that God's time operates differently from human time. Thériault began drinking heavily again. He abandoned the Adventist diet and resumed eating meat, dairy, and junk food. As his power and control grew, so did his cruel and insane tendencies. He exerted both physical and mental pressure on his followers. Members of the Ant Hill Kids were forbidden from interacting with each other without his presence, and even sexual activity required his approval. To ensure complete loyalty, he mandated that the commune members wear uniform tunics to symbolize equality. The group faced perverse and brutal punishments for even the slightest infraction, being subjected to severe physical and sexual abuse. These included extreme practices such as being burned with blowtorches, having their fingers cut off with wire cutters, self-mutilation, and corporal punishment. If any of his followers disobeyed him, Thériault would inflict cruel punishments on them, such as tearing out their body hair, hanging them from the ceiling, and even defecating on them. If anyone tried to leave the anthill children, Thériault would beat them with belts or hammers. Even children in the commune were not immune from violence or abuse. The children were also subjected to unimaginable torture. In 1980, a mentally unstable man named Guy Vere joined the commune. He was assigned to care for some of the children in the community. In 1981, during a feast where the group was celebrating, Guy was looking after the children, including 2-year-old Samuel Jaguar. Samuel's loud crying disturbed Guy, and he severely beat the child as punishment. Thériault attempted to treat Samuel's injuries with a healing ritual that involved stomach injections and a circumcision procedure. However, these procedures did not go well, and Samuel was found dead the next morning. Thériault decided that Guy needed to be punished for Samuel's death and held a trial. Guy was found guilty and was punished by being castrated. He later managed to escape from the commune and went to the police. The police raided the commune, arresting Roch and several other cult members. They were charged with criminal negligence causing bodily harm. The children were placed in protective services. The police cleared the cult's compound, demolished the cabins, and evacuated all members living there. Thériault was released from prison in 1984. Despite his long absence, he still retained a loyal following, though smaller in number than before. Thériault decided that the group should start over on a new piece of land and rebuild their commune. The group, consisting of 2 men, 9 women, and 10 children, left the Gaspé region and headed west to the province of Ontario. Thériault and his followers established a new community near Burnt River, Ontario. In 1985, a baby froze to death, leading to an investigation. When another child reported being sexually assaulted, the authorities intervened, and in 1987, the children were removed from the commune and placed in foster care. After the children were taken away, Thériault's violent behavior escalated. While drunk, he believed he was a doctor capable of performing medical procedures on his followers. Thériault began conducting horrific surgeries, which he referred to as magical healings. In September 1988, one of Thériault's wives, Solange Boilard, began suffering from stomach pains. Thériault believed he could cure her through surgery. He told her to undress and lie down on the kitchen table. Thériault punched her in the stomach and then inserted a plastic tube into her rectum, administering an enema with molasses and olive oil. Drunk, Thériault performed a botched surgery, removing parts of her intestines and declaring her healed. Boilard remained alive and in agony until the next day. This horrific ordeal ultimately led to her death. Thériault then claimed he could resurrect Boilard. After drilling a hole into her skull, he forced other male followers to ejaculate into the cavity. He then did the same. When this failed to bring her back to life, Thériault removed one of her ribs, which he wore around his neck as a keepsake before the group buried her. Gabrielle had witnessed Thériault's descent into madness for years. Although she tried to leave the commune several times, she always ended up returning. Over the years, Gabrielle suffered severe physical abuse at the hands of Thériault. On one occasion, he even pulled out 8 of her teeth. When she complained about a problem with sensation in her hand, Thériault, without warning, stabbed her hand with a hunting knife, essentially pinning it to the table. He later decided that her arm needed to be amputated. Taking a butcher's knife, he cut off her arm. In August 1989, Lavallee finally managed to escape from the commune and made her way to the nearest hospital. Lavallee's escape led to a thorough police investigation. Her testimony during questioning finally revealed the disturbing truth about the commune, triggering a wave of defections. Thériault managed to evade the police for several weeks by hiding in the forest. However, he was eventually arrested on October 6, 1989. Thériault was charged with aggravated assault and second-degree murder. He received a life sentence for the death of Solange Boilard. Additionally, he was sentenced to 12 years in prison for forcibly amputating Gabrielle's arm. In 2000, Roch Thériault was transferred to a medium-security prison in Dorchester, New Brunswick. In 2002, he applied for parole, but his request was denied. 3 of his wives moved to New Brunswick to continue following Moïse. During conjugal visits at the prison, these 3 wives became pregnant and gave birth to 4 babies. All 4 infants were immediately taken into custody by Child Protective Services and placed for adoption. In February 2011, 63-year-old Roch Thériault was stabbed to death by his cellmate, Matthew Gerard MacDonald, at Dorchester Penitentiary. Thanks for watching. Please share what you think about this case in the comments below.